And then I went to a forestry meeting from LeGrand into Seaside, Oregon.
Uh-huh.
And he saw me there, and he came over to me. He said, "Bob, I want you to meet the chief of the Forest Service."
Oh.
He took me to meet this. He was a scientist. So he came up in the Forest Service, not on national forest, but through the science end of it. I didn't impress him.
Uh-huh.
He said, "Well, what do you think about adding to Eagle Cap Wilderness?" He said, "What are local people thinking about that?" Well, I had only been there a few months or whatever, and I said, "Well, I really don't know much about that." Well, that was the end of the conversation. As long as there's, easier money to be made elsewhere, that's where investors are going to put it. More sure.
So, Dad, is it safe to say that you really like trees?
Yes, it is.
How come?
I like the shape and the questions behind the tree, why they grow where they do. I always liked that. Well, we had a forestry club in high school, and all my brothers, Jack and Larry, they joined. Inspired by Mr. Percival. He was the visor. He was a woodsman.
And then you went to U of I, Dad, for forestry school?
Yeah, I went to the junior college for 2 years and got my prerequisites out of the way. And then went to Idaho to finish up the prerequisites and do the forestry major.
And then you worked for the Forest Service at Lake Wenatchee when you were in college?
Right. Started right after high school.
At time, like on a timber crew, cruising and so forth?
Well, I started out doing forest account work on the brush crew, piling brush. And then the engineering crew needed a laborer to help brush out surveying lines. So I did that, and I stayed as a wage grade employee, which paid more than a GS employee, and stayed on the crew and learned some basic engineering skills. And so I learned how to throw a tape and how to take angles with an Abney and how to use a hand level. So I worked at the Forest Service until through the summer of '63, and then as a summer seasonal. And then shortly after I got out of U of I went in the Navy, and then in the winter of '68, I started January 2nd of '68. I started working for a company up in Ontario. 6 weeks or so after I got out of the Navy. And I stayed up in Canada until, I guess, 70 when I came back to the States and started with the Forest Service in July of '70 on the Hebo Ranger District of the Sayuslaw National Forest as a forestry trainee.
So, Dad, then you were in LeGrand?
Right, after I left Hebo.
And then Kettle?
Yeah.
Kettle Falls?
Yeah.
And then Colville? Yeah. And in Kettle, you were a sales administrator?
No,
No.
I was a silviculturist.
And then you went to Colville for a little while to work on that project?
Right.
And then to Walla Walla?
Then I went to Wallowa to work on the East Side project.
And you were there for like a year and then you retired?
A little over a year.
So how long did you work for the Forest Service in total?
25 years as a professional. And I had 31 years of total federal service, including my military time and my seasonal work. And I retired, I was 54 and a half, I guess. So,
what did you like about working for the Forest Service?
Well, actually, I like kind of the land ethic they had back then. and you know, caring for the land, including all of the resources, and actually working the land. I thought we overcut too much timber, and I think we had too many animals on the range. But other than that, I thought they were not too bad of land stewards. And I worked for 2 private companies, and the one in Ontario I thought had good land ethics. The one on Vancouver Island, I thought they were too much volume oriented. I was told a tree was for cutting, even though they wouldn't be able to reforest the area.
And Dad, you're not done with the trees, though.
Oh no. If nothing else, I enjoy the aesthetics of trees.